Hello, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader. It's Monday night, July the 5th, and this is the charts of the day. Again, as promised, we're going to cover the Boxer shorts. Despite the fact that the market's rallied strongly for 5 sessions now, 6 sessions now, actually, and we're due for a pullback, there are quite a few stocks that are not reacting that well, and you'll see some of them tonight, and I think you'll be quite surprised by what you see. The pattern just don't look that good on some of these Boxer shorts, and we'll continue to recommend them as downside possibilities. Akamai, which has come all the way down from the mid 50s to the high 20s, and yet this feeble rally here with very little response in the technicals or volume indicates to me we still have lower levels to go. Should this market come down even for a few days, we could see this come down and maybe get into the mid 20s. That's my target, around 26 for Akamai. CREE also looking pretty ugly from a high of the 72.3 range in December. This has come all the way down to the low 30s, and yet no signs of a turnaround. As a matter of fact, down $1.05 today, and near the lows for this year and the last 2 years or so. So we'll continue to recommend this on the downside with a target around 28 for CREE. Digital Globe, which broke hard after coming down from the February high, cracking with a big gap down in May, formed then came down into the 23.5 range, formed about a 4 or 5 week coiling type pattern. Did try to rally and did so, and bouncing from 23.5 up to about 25.5 in the last couple of weeks. But you can see no reaction in the technicals, very little volume, back up towards the declining tops line near the moving average and lateral price resistance. All I can see for this stock is more rollover, perhaps a move down into the low 20s for DGI. Global Laboratories, as many of you know, I've been recommending this stock short since it cracked in January. You can see that the rollover here, the bear flag, the big spike down in February, a steady decline, a move back up to the price resistance and the moving averages. That failed and rolled over. Then another retest also failed, and a steady, slow decline ensued in the last 2 months. We tried a little rally last week, but all we could do is get to the 21 period moving average and then a sharp rollover for $1.26 today. It appears that the bottom of the channel may be beckoning around 37. That's our short-term trading target for Dolby DLB. Now Dawson Geophysical has snapped back a little bit here, and as you can see in the last couple of weeks, it's moved back from about 29 up to 35. Not bad, but lateral price resistance in this zone and a declining tops line at the top of the channel, as well as the moving averages here, indicate that this may be a shorting point. Now, obviously, if it's shorted here, we can put a near-term stop right above this range. But I'm looking for a rollover that gets down to at least the 28 level, maybe as low as 25.5. First Republic Bank looking quite ugly lately. Came down hard from the 34 area to around 30.5 and bounced to the moving average, failed, rolled over, and now is right at key support, lateral, and trend line support. If we break here, this could see something in the high 20s, maybe even 27. GPRO, after a big rising channel, formed a topping pattern, broke hard in June, fell steadily throughout mid-June, and then formed a large coiling wedging type, bear wedge type pattern. You can see very little response in volume or technicals. I'm looking for more downside here. Wouldn't be shocked to see the stock get down to the $60 range on a short-term basis, maybe 62 zone. IHS, which formed the topping pattern for 4 months, broke hard a couple weeks ago and has been slowly edging back towards resistance, price and moving average resistance here. If it fails here and rolls over, this can come down hard into the mid-70s. Interoil IOC has been coming down hard since the mid-February reversal, March reversal, excuse me. Bear flag, strong movement down. Another 6-week flag, a rollover, and a hard one. A reversal day here that resulted in this move up. But look at the lack of response in technicals and volume in this one too. Right back up to the trend line, moving average, price resistance in the zone. And I'm looking for a rollover to get this down back towards the test of 47 again. At least a minimum of 50 for starters. Now, if it does break to the upside, you can stop this above, say, 62, 62.5. ITRI, still in a down channel, has been for a year now, and more than a year. But more importantly, key support here was broken recently, and the stock's trying to snap back towards that area. But notice again, no response in the technicals or volume. This could be nothing more than a technical snapback to test resistance at around 50.5. and then another rollover could take place to take it into the 43-45 zone. PSC, Pioneer Southwest Energy, one of the weaker oils we've seen out there, moved back slowly last week, stalled near the moving averages. Very poor response in the technicals and volume. And perhaps we need to redraw this line to have it look more like a falling wedge here. But in any case, I'm looking for more downside around 24.5. SMG, Scott's Miracle Grow, today cracked $1.19 out of this rising wedge, which is a bearish wedge right to the declining tops line and 21-day moving average. We're in a new downtrend, it appears, as key lateral resistance was broken here with a hard thrust to the downside, and a bounce off secondary support resulted in this bear wedge, but it appears to be more downside will be forthcoming, and I'll set a target around 45.46. TREX, TREX, nice run up from the November lows around 16 all the way up to the 33-34 zone, topped out, came down, rebounded but couldn't get through resistance and the moving averages, rolled over to make new lows, formed the bear flag, spiked down, and another bear flag forming in here right now. Although it may have some upside towards 26 before it rolls over, I'm looking eventually for 21.5 to 22. Vera Bradley, looking pretty ugly since it broke down hard in early June. Since then, forming a 4-week bear flag. Looks like it may be breaking here as it dropped 57 cents today, and it tested the 32 range, may be forthcoming shortly. That's my short-term target. VSCC, which has been coming down since it was 40 in October, has gotten all the way down to the mid-20s, and yet very little rally. As a matter of fact, the last week or two, it's come straight down on heavy volume with very poor technicals. And although there's some support here, I wouldn't be shocked to see this down around a 2022 level. And lastly, for today's WMS Industries, which formed the head and shoulders top in November, December, January, broke in late January, formed the bear flag, failed at the moving averages and declining tops line, came down, bounced, failed, formed the bear wedge, came down hard, and another bear wedge is formed. Today dropped 58 cents and may have fallen out of this bear wedge near the declining tops line moving averages. At this point, I'm looking for a test of the lows at the very least around 27.5, 28, but if that's taken out, look for something about 24, 25. And that's it for tonight. Some of the boxes shorts and certainly some ugly patterns. Take it easy.